Welcome to my favorite podcast.
Hello.
Let's do
We're your favorite co-hosts.
I'm your favorite co-host, Ty Turner.
Fucking rude. Listen, I'm also your favorite co-host, Aaron and Sweeney. I'll fight you. Today, we're talking about some cool shit.
These nuts.
I don't have a lot of updates because I already gave you my updates of the day.
Oh, yeah. Well,
It's not actually a different day. Oh, shit.
fucking A.
The illusion
Start over.
shattered.
Shut it down. Cancel the podcast. Yeah, we're talking about the apocalypse. Let's just get into it. Because
Oh, hell yeah.
they've been
Cool.
waiting. They've been on the edge of their seats ever since we mentioned it at the end of last week's episode. So
It's true. We've been teasing them. We gave them just the tip, and then
now we
we left them for a week.
and that's how you do it. it's the slow
That's how
game.
is this clickbait?
You're playing the long game
Not
with
really.
that. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the apocalypse, the end of the world, some theories. I don't watch a lot of post-apocalyptic movies, and Ty has. Ty's watched a lot of movies, I think.
Well, I wouldn't say there's definitely a lot that I haven't seen that would be considered staples of the genre, like Mad Max I haven't seen. Some others probably that a lot of people would expect. But I've definitely I've consumed a bit.
Very nice. Well, I've watched some. I've watched War of the Worlds because I read the book in grade 5.
Cool. Grade 5.
Otherwise, in grade 5, what do you call it there? Fucking
5th grade.
It was the 5th grade. So in grade 5. Oh my god, my cat's so cute. I want to punch you. I'm kidding. I would never. They're so cute. Sometimes you want to devour them.
Yeah.
So anyway, I soon realized that I don't do well with post-apocalyptic scenarios because they make me sad. So like, okay, would you consider Walking Dead a post-apocalyptic
Yeah.
show? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I tried to watch it and I was like, this is depressing. I can't. Sorry.
It is pretty depressing. Like, it's a bleak show. It's dark. It's fun sometimes.
always
I mean,
is.
I love it. I think it's fun to watch, but it's not going to make you happy.
So, I mean, if you had to categorize post-apocalyptic media, because it's like TV shows and movies, how would you categorize them? Because here's my vague guess: aliens, natural disasters,
Yeah.
zombie outbreak, or any other like
Viral pandemic.
virus outbreak, nuclear winter. That's how I would. Those are the main ones I could think
Definitely. Well, there's also technology. You have like, the Terminator, robots uprising, that kind of shit.
of. That's true. iRobot. Wait, does that count?
I think
The Matrix?
I don't think
The Matrix.
The Matrix could be considered. Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah, The Matrix. Okay. I didn't realize that this podcast would allow me the space to talk about The
Oh,
Matrix.
God.
It's my
Here
goddamn
we go.
favorite movie.
Get a trans person started talking about the Matrix and it's done. Let's hear it. Let's go.
The Matrix is about. Have you watched it like in recent times? Okay, because sometimes people are like, I watched it when I was 7. I'm like,
I've watched it several times. I love the movie. Yeah.
It's so fucking good. But yeah, the whole premise of The Matrix is that like humans had to go underground because robots became too smart, and then they started farming humans, and the humans who live inside the Matrix are living inside like this artificial reality to keep the farmed humans' consciousness alive while their body develops before they're consumed, like batteries. So
But did
Yeah,
you know
super
that it's not
post-apocalyptic.
that was just they made them into batteries to make it easier, like more palatable to the general populace that was watching it? They're actually using originally they were supposed to be using the humans for their brain power, like processors for computers to power their robot thing. So it's like they're harvesting the humans to use their brains and not actually their bodies as batteries. But continue. Just a little fun fact.
I thought that was like the Kylam. I thought that was this is a cat toy. Nobody panic. I thought that was the same thing.
No, so like it's like using your body as a battery is like to power something, but using your brain for its memory and like storage, like your neurons, like it's different.
Oh, that's sick.
But they didn't think
fucking
people would
love it.
understand that because that was like before people really knew how computers and shit worked very well. like just as in general. So they were like, they'll get it if the people are batteries, but
Interesting.
humans don't make very effective batteries because it takes a lot for us to run. Like we don't produce energy, we consume it.
You were at a constant loss of energy. That's the whole premise of like having a metabolism or homeostasis. So yeah,
You were summarizing.
our body is just trying to keep itself alive
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah. Sorry, I derailed you. You were summarizing The Matrix.
I was just explaining why it counts as a post-apocalyptic movie and why I'm very happy about that. That's it. That was the whole.
okay.
Thanks for because if I start talking about the Matrix, that's a whole different fucking podcast. Ow, Kylam. That's a whole different podcast, and I'm not going to shut the fuck up.
I love it though. It's so good.
But they do go hand in hand, and I will find a way to get back to it.
Absolutely. We could do definitely a whole Matrix podcast.
Nice. So, okay. So of those those 5 categories of post-apocalyptic types that I'll try to riddle off again. There was
We have like technology, aliens, natural disasters, viral pandemic,
and nuclear winter.
robots. I'm sure. I mean, there's so many more.
Which one do you think is the most likely to happen?
I would say that it will be natural disaster because of depletion of resources, global warming. But wait. Let's stop. I need parameters more because, like, if we're talking about the apocalypse, do we mean, if we use the phrase the end of the world, do we mean like Earth dies, or do we mean humanity goes extinct? Because I feel like those are kind of interchanged, and that's hard to.
They are, yeah. It's wild to think that in like the Earth's lifetime, we've been there for such a fraction. Even like dinosaur, like we're closer to what was it? We're closer to the Stegosaurus than the Stegosaurus is to the T-Rex, or something like that. I might be completely slaughtering that information, but like it's wild to think about how little amount of time we've been here and how untangible that idea is to us, that we would get wiped off the Earth. But it's like, oh, we will. Yeah. The Earth will turn itself into an ice cube, will die, and then other life will rise from below the Earth's ice, and new life will start again. Which, I mean, kind of begs the question, like, what if it's already happened before? But I mean, I feel like there would probably be traces. But I mean, that would be cool. It would be cool for future civilizations to be like, oh, there were humanoids here before.
Life finds a way.
Heck yeah.
So, I guess it depends on which kind of genre of apocalypse we're discussing. If we want to say, like, I mean, I guess in terms of the apocalypse, I would most likely think of it as the end of humanity, like humanity's gone, instead of like the end of Earth. Earth is gone. But I mean, there's a lot of scenarios within this podcast where I'm sure that will also be the case. But I'll say, like, bare minimum, at least all the humans have to die.
Yeah, that's. I would think of it more as like the end of humanity, than the end of the Earth itself. Because the only like realistic, like the Earth dies and goes away forever, that I could think of is legit just like
the sun blows
the
up.
Star.
Yeah.
The sun turning into a red giant and engulfing the Earth. It's like that'll happen one day, but otherwise, everything else I could think of, I'm like, the Earth would find a way to come back to life, because it's just, it's a rock. It has heat. It'll eventually turn into something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there are definitely other like celestial scenarios that could make that not possible, but those would all be like, if those happened, humans would also die. So either way, I think that, measuring like humanity dies, that's the apocalypse. That makes sense.
So was there somewhere you wanted to start with this before I jump into my whole thing?
No, I mean, if you want to get into it, we can start there. Or I guess actually let's ease into it. Okay, let's start at the shallow end. Okay, and then we'll get off the big diving board here in a little bit. Okay, let's start with the easiest one for everyone, probably the zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
Because I think that one's just so fun. Like, I started in with global warming, but that's like currently actually happening, and it's just sad.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's do zombies, because zombies are just fucking awesome. IMO.
Yeah, and like global warming, global warming, realistically, what I think would happen with that, if I throw in my little 2 cent comment, is like, everyone's like, your money can't save you. The earth dies, you die with it. Not true, though. If the 99% of people who are in poverty die, then the 1% will have enough resources to stay alive and the money to keep themselves alive with their resources. So realistically, what's going to happen is the poor are going to die off and the rich will continue living in their bunkers, and overpopulation won't be an issue anymore.
Aaron,
Yeah.
have you heard of this new thing, since you said that? This thing that is happening where, like, they're called, like, billionaire bunkers or something? Do you know about that?
No.
Oh, it's so...
No.
I mean, it's so fucking awful, but also
Well, of
cool at
course.
the same time. I don't know. Basically, there are these, like, luxury bunkers that are being put up or down, because they're in the ground, across different parts of the world, where, like, billionaires can outfit these extravagant underground bunkers that have, like, LED screens that make it look like there's a skylight and, like, windows and shit, and it's all, like, super fancy. And people are putting so much money into this right now. Like, this is a huge thing that's happening. Like, there's one in South Dakota that's just this huge field of, like, these ex-military bunkers, and this company's going in there and gutting them and turning them into these fucking bougie ass, it looks like a penthouse suite,
Of course.
and for these billionaires to, like, purchase whenever shit goes to shit.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, billionaires need to care more about climate change because it affects all of us.
Not them.
They're gonna survive. No matter what, there will always be at least one goddamn human alive on this earth, as long as the earth is not in actual flames. And I understand that global warming means that, like, I'll get into it later, but you know,
Storms
the
and things will
earth
start
would
collapsing,
become,
and
yeah, the earth would become like Venus, somewhere like around 400 degrees Fahrenheit, because of all the energy consumption and overpopulation. But again, before it gets to that part where it's not habitable, people will be dying.
yeah.
And the overpopulation thing won't be an issue, and the people surviving will be the ones with the wealth and the resources. Where that's where I'm kind of like, global warming is kind of like holding hands with capitalism to some extent.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
like, yeah, it's not all fair in nature. It's like, of course, people have like these bunkers and shit. Like, they're gonna survive. Overpopulation won't be an issue. Energy consumption won't be an issue, and it's like, it's kind of messed up. Anyway, but I didn't know about those bunkers. I mean, obviously, I knew people were building bunkers. Like, that's just kind of. I mean, you have all that money. What are you gonna do? Build a bunker.
Yeah. It's like chic.
But I kind of want to, like, my bunker tour, like, make a vlog channel. Like,
Post
I would
Malone
love
has one. He has, like, a really fucking fancy
way.
bunker that he's talked about. And I don't know if he's shared pictures of it or anything, but, like, I would so watch a tour of Post Malone's fucking apocalypse
Right?
bunker.
Like, monetize it. I'm kidding.
Make some of
I'm
this
joking.
back. This was such a big investment.
I would love to see an intense bunker. As awful as it is, like, you don't need those LED. Well, maybe, I don't know. If you're taking vitamin D supplements and then, like, the screens are tricking your brain into think you're actually outside, maybe actually will contribute to, like, wellness. But anyway,
I bet you would end up needing to fool yourself hardcore into not thinking that you're trapped inside a room for the rest of however long it is until it's safe to go outside, which might not be within your lifetime. Fuck it. I just decided I'd rather die in the apocalypse than have a bunker.
an interesting theory, actually, which kind of, I mean, low key, I'm like, but people who are visually impaired. But someone said that they think that the future of mankind, in terms of, like, mental wellness, when, like, everyone's going to have to live underground and all that stuff, will be in VR,
That's what
like
I was
virtual
when
reality.
you started saying that, I was like, oh yeah, duh, VR.
Yeah.
That makes
So, I mean, like, VR isn't super effective. Let's say for me, I don't have depth of perception and I'm blind in one eye, and a lot of VR relies on giving you two slightly different images in each eye to give you the illusion of, like, depth. And so, like, it doesn't really work for me. I could absolutely, like, I feel like I'm gonna vomit when I'm using VR headsets, and a lot of the time I don't actually see what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't see, then VR headsets aren't gonna work at all.
yeah.
So I'm kind of like, when it comes to the future of the planet, well, the future of humanity, I think most people with disabilities aren't really going to make it. Like, and that kind of half-ass includes, like, trans folk who are on hormones, who've had their
Oh, yeah.
sexual reproductive parts removed, because if your body is not producing any natural hormones and you don't have access to your prescription hormones, you will develop osteoporosis. So that's kind of like anyone on prescription medication or who needs regular medical treatments likely wouldn't make it in a post-apocalyptic world, even if it's just like a medical apocalypse, like lack of resources, like shortages of the medications you need, all that stuff. So I'm kind of like, a little iffy on that.
Calling back to our last episode, yet another reason for me to not get a histo.
There you
I want to survive the apocalypse.
I want to in this climate. No.
That honestly, the whole VR thing could lead us on a different path, more of the technology path of the apocalypse. Not so much in terms of like humanity would end, but I think I would almost consider it a post-apocalyptic scenario if it was something where like everyone was constantly on VR to the point where like the real world was just a total shit show. You know, I mean, it would be very similar to The Matrix, but we'd be aware of it. You know, that kind of thing. What do you squinting?
I smiled because I'm excited about The Matrix, but then I smiled because I made a mouth sound and I felt bad about it, and I was like, ew, mouth sounds.
I actually didn't catch that one. I'm so glad I didn't.
Oh, how unfortunate. Can't wait for you to edit this. Just kidding.
But zombies?
Yes, zombies. Okay. I've never really bought into the post-apocalyptic like viral type, like a virus thing, but it's probably because I don't know enough about it. But I've always been like, zombie movies never really freaked me out. They make me sad because anything post-apocalyptic is sad and things die. But I've always been like, it'll never happen, but maybe it will. Do you know more about this than I do?
You know, a lot of everything to do with zombies is basically just science fiction. But I mean, some of them I could buy into that. Like, there's different sort of camps of thought there, like the ones where like the dead people come basically are like reanimated corpses. Obviously not, but something where like there's a viral outbreak of something and it sort of deteriorates certain parts of your brain, and you know, it can die, and then within a certain time period be reanimated because this virus is basically like, it's like a parasite and you're kind of the host to this. Yeah, I get that, because I mean that to a much smaller extent, like there are like bugs that do that like get these parasites, and the bug is dead but this parasite is in their brain operating their body and making it do shit.
I hate it.
I know,
I hate that.
it's fucked. And then like the bug ends up just like its body is like a host to this, and then it has babies, and it's all fucking the worst. But yeah, so
I have a post-apocalyptic theory.
Do what?
What if? Because you were like, what if something, you know, like it's an outbreak of some kind, right? Like one person has it and everyone else. What if Kat Von D's kids go into a hospital, right, where everyone's like immune system is compromised, and because they're not vaccinated, they just fucking kill everyone. Okay, sorry, just kidding.
Yeah,
vaccinate your goddamn kids.
I mean, this is honestly zombie apocalypse. Like anti-vaxxing could totally be the catalyst for a zombie apocalypse, and I would not even be remotely surprised.
Yeah,
vaccinate your kids.
Otherwise, we're gonna have zombies.
That's so you don't really watch a lot of So I guess it doesn't really. It's not very conducive to like a much of a debate or conversation about like which style of zombie apocalypse would be more likely, or I guess more fun. Do you have like more fun? Do you think so? Have you seen I Am Legend with Will Smith?
Yes.
Okay, what do you think about that? Just general opinions.
First of all, spoiler alert, obviously, for everyone watching, we're going to spoil the movie, but I don't like that the dog dies.
Fuck
There's that.
Yeah.
Fuck that. You didn't have to do that to me, Will.
Written, directed, and edited by Will Smith.
Will Smith. I don't know. A lot of those I'm just kind of like, I really have a hard time buying into the stories of any of those. I don't know. I'm not the most fun person to talk to when it comes to the zombie apocalypse stuff, because every time I'm like, nah.
Well, some people don't really even consider that a zombie movie, but I think
Because I guess it's about a sickness outbreak. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean the creatures in it, like they're fucking infected people that are all like fucked up and wild now. Like what is that?
And dangerous.
It's a zombie. Chill.
Yeah. I would want to I would need to look into the like someone who breaks this down on like a neuroscience level, because I'm just sort of like, okay, well, if this has to do with like human beings essentially becoming rabid, it's like what is actually happening and why can't it be treated with medication? Like even like what neurotransmitters are being affected here? What is it? Which parts of the brain? And clearly, I guess the frontal lobe, if it has to do with like impulse control and stuff like that. Because I mean, if you're eating another human being, that's an impulsive decision.
Yeah, it's pretty impulsive.
So,
yeah.
So I would need to get into like those details before I know like how believable I think it is. And then if I look too far into it, then I can be like, oh man, zombie apocalypse is coming. And then I'm going to build my own bunker. So, you know,
you're going to go
do
full
we really
Post
want
Malone.
that? Me and Post Malone in our bunkers.
Neighbors.
Boy, I just want a podcast. Please, sir.
For our listeners out there, he's holding a cat and talking to it.
Yes. He's making trouble, putting his little
He's a
peats on
troublemaker.
everything.
He's a bad boy.
Yeah. Boy. I do think, not exactly zombie outbreak, but a sickness outbreak, I do think that's something that could like happen and totally like mess up humanity. But I would wonder, where would that have to come from? Where like
Well, you have biological warfare, which is could be easier and more likely than ever now that there is this huge anti-vax movement in the US. If North Korea is like,
Sure.
well, we can't get a missile to go that far, but we could put a sick person over there. And
one person with the measles shows up.
honestly, that is happening.
That I didn't even think of like biological warfare. It's true though.
the
It's
most
like
fucked
because all
up.
these kids are unvaccinated, throw one person in that's like, we haven't had polio in a long time, but now that none of your kids are vaccinated, it's like it's not a generational because you're immune because you had a vaccination that your kid is going to be immune. It doesn't work that way. So it's like, wow, that could really mess some people up.
Yeah. I think biological warfare, if we're talking about like likelihood, then that would be the one that could actually happen as far as viral infections go. Or here's another one that is actually currently happening. We're becoming super. What's it called? It's like a super virus or something where it's immune to all of the antibiotics, and antibiotics are less effective because people don't finish them, and then they basically get rid of the sickness that they have, but that bacteria still exists on some level and then mutates, and it's not currently making them sick, but it's still its own thing. And now that survived that round of antibiotics, so it knows that like next time it's not gonna get. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how to describe it, but basically these different bacteria and stuff can mutate if people don't take their antibiotics the right way, and most people don't.
Or if you're given antibiotics that aren't strong enough to treat what you have, but it gets rid of your symptoms for a little bit and then it comes back again. When it comes back again, it might not be responsive to the next. Let's say if you were given a penicillin-based antibiotic, but it wasn't strong enough, when it comes back, you won't be able to go back to another round of penicillin-based antibiotics. You're gonna have to go to something else. Oh man, my brain went somewhere else. I was just like, oh, there's a thing called getting floxed, I think, and any floxicillin, monoflox, or whatever, some antibiotic that's that type could really mess you up for a long time. Anyway, that's its own thing. It could, one dose could do you in. Just look up getting floxed. It's a thing. It's once you look into it, you're like, never want antibiotics again.
Is the medicine
Floxed.
bad, or is it like the way that your body reacts to it is bad?
So it's fluoroquinolone toxicity exposure. It causes basically very sensitive to eggs. What?
I can't imagine. You're right, Aaron. I never want antibiotics again.
It's its own thing. I'm not going to get into it because there's no way to get into it just a little bit, and then it's going to turn into just a podcast about that, and it's not going to be coherent to follow because I don't know it well enough to make it coherent to follow.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, sorry, I derailed the conversation. We could.
No, you're fine. Okay.
Okay.
So if we're going back to zombies, I think it's more appropriate to say viral infection is the kind of apocalypse, and like the subgenre would be zombie outbreak. Because with the viral infection, it also includes stuff like the biological warfare that does kill off people, and then people just die, and that's the end of it. And there is no like zombies involved. But then within that, you have the subsection Z for zombie apocalypse.
Z for zombie.
And I think that one is pretty cool. Like I was always scared of zombies and like zombie movies growing up, just because they freaked me out. Like the idea of a human who is pretty much just an animal who just wants to devour you. Like, fuck that.
So is the trademark for it being a zombie and not just an illness outbreak cannibalism? Is that the like deciding factor?
Yeah, basically it's like undead. Okay. So I think in my mind, whenever I see like the point that a person is not just sick, but they are a zombie, is when their like consciousness is gone, but their body is still going. And
okay. So the illness itself is animating the body. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. All right, because this whole time I'm like, this just sounds like people are scared of like mental illness, and they're just like, they're gonna eat us. I'm like, I feel like it could be treated, but it's that there is no
that person
left. It's that okay, the virus has inhabited a human host. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think I'm getting a better grip on what zombies are. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So it is like scary. That whole parasite thing where a human is being controlled by, their mind. That person is totally gone, but the body is still going, and it's just like an empty shell that is just eating and spooky.
And infecting others, which would make sense with just like the basic, what does a virus want to do? It wants to multiply. Yeah. So if its goal is multiplying, and the way that it jumps from host to host is through like bites or consumption. So, okay, I get it. I see. I'm seeing. It's starting to become a reality. You're painting a picture.
There it is. Yeah. If there was a zombie apocalypse, and this is so fucked up. Like I said, I used to be scared of zombie movies as a kid, but I still like, because of that, would watch a lot of them. I watched a lot of scary movies as a kid. So I asked my mom one time, I think I was like 9, and I was like, so if I became a zombie and I was trying to attack you, would you kill me? Like my zombie self. And she was like, no, of course not. I don't think I could. And I was like, well, then you'd die. So bad call.
You're weak. You can't come into the bunker with us. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah. But so how do you think you would handle that? Like if you were in a zombie scenario where, like, let's say you wake up one day and you flip on the news and like there's been a zombie outbreak, but you're safe in your house currently. Like, what is your mode of action? What do you do?
Hey.
Okay.
Wow. So no time has passed for anyone else, but so the reason why I had that smug, mildly entertained face on was because every time someone asks me like, what would you do in a post-apocalyptic scenario? I have to give them a big trigger warning. Again, big trigger warning. Long story short, I would not make it. Again, I have a hard time trigger warning, like self-harm, suicide. But yeah, I just have here, like, I'm confused as to like, if I'm living this life now, not in an apocalypse in Canada with like, healthcare and all that good shit, the access to education, like, things aren't bad. And I still grew up having trouble finding reasons to stay alive, like, struggled with suicidal thoughts and all that stuff. How the hell would I live in a post-apocalyptic world and be like, yeah, I'm going to fight to stay alive? Like, I don't, already when there's every reason to live, my brain is having trouble finding ways to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had to, it was a struggle. And it's something my family, there's a whole history of suicide in my family. I've talked about it. So I'm just like, I don't think anyone related to me or me myself, I don't think we would make it. So that's how I would do in the apocalypse. I would just not do. I don't understand. I don't understand staying alive to be miserable. I've never understood it. But this is why I can't watch post-apocalyptic things, because I get very dark very quickly. And yeah.
Aaron made me cut out the funniest part of our podcast. So it's okay.
I explained to Ty. I tried not to go into detail.
He explained it all to me. He gave me a step-by-step tutorial. No, it was,
No,
but then I
really
was riffing on it, and we were going back and forth, and it ended up being really funny, but like in a super fucked up way. So I get it, but like right now, a small
Yeah, I
part of
would
me is
never-
like mourning that little chunk of the podcast that like will never be
We'll
seen.
know that it existed. It will put on like an 18 plus channel just so look, you're an adult. You could decide for yourself. I just don't want any young teens to listen to it and be like, oh,
Right, of course.
that I never thought of that. So I don't
absolutely
want to.
Would not be a cute look for this specific podcast, but I think that it's funny.
Between us, it was a very funny exchange for him being like, wow, okay. And then like every pun, every like always finding a way to loop back to it. I'm like, Ty.
Would you say you wouldn't want me in your podcast, or you wouldn't want me in your bunker? Yeah, because then I wouldn't wake up.
I would not kill the people in my bunker, just FYI. I was explaining them like I wouldn't want to be alive and I would feel bad for my pets being alive. You know, it was this whole thing. And just, not that I would actually be able to kill my pets. It's not about that. But I was just like, look, put the whole house on wheels and roll us into a lake. I'm kidding.
That's what
not,
he's-
see, I could
that's-
say that because that's not possible. So
If you're in a tiny house.
like if you're in a bunker with me and all my pets and I'm like, you know, if I roll us all into a lake, then yeah, you shouldn't be in my bunker. So
Exactly.
I would never, in case anyone's like, oh, that was his plan. No, my plan is not to drive my house into, I'm not driving anything into a lake. That's not, that drowning sounds horrible. Anyway, I wouldn't know, but I do not want, I would never drown my animals. Anyway, this is why I was like, we need to cut it was getting so dark. I was like, I can't, this is why you can't take me to the movies, Ty. I can't.
At some point, you just gotta stop.
I can't watch I Am Legend. I can't.
Okay.
The Walking Dead? No. Because all I could think, I'm watching The Walking Dead and I'm just like, that's a useful item to have in your inventory. And I'm just, my brain immediately goes to there. And I'm like, why? I don't want to think this way. So this is why I'm not good with post-apocalyptic scenarios, because they immediately become like dark.
Like, not how could I survive scenarios, but the exact opposite.
the literal opposite. Like, how could I not survive,
not
in the
survive
least
the
painful way
quickest?
possible? Yeah, literally. So that's why I'm like, not your guy. You don't want me in your bunker. You could store me in your freezer for meat, I guess. Like, sure, go ahead.
That's cool. Well, I would try to survive.
Yeah. Okay. So now that I'm done doing whatever the hell, Ty, what would you do in a post-apocalyptic scenario, like a zombie scenario?
If I was near you, I would collect your body for meat.
Fair.
But I would assume that I would not be near you. I'd probably be here. And I think I would wait it out as long as I possibly could, because there's going to be this initial shock and fucking chaos and riots in the street and stuff like that.
Fair.
But if I could manage to stay low for like 5 days, and I think I could definitely pull that off, and then get to, depends on the kind of cell service and this and that. But if I could get to my dad's house, which is about a 10-minute drive from where I live, excuse me, he essentially has like not a bunker. He has kind of like a panic room that he built on to his house that is really cool. It's like, I think it's like a coat closet or something. And then behind it, it's like, surprise, there's a secret fucking like bank vault door with a keypad on it and shit. And then it's like this metal box with like a bunch of guns in it. So I would try to get there, and if it's zombies, then I'm gonna want a way to kill the zombies. But it depends on what kind of zombies they are, because if they react to sound, then I'd want a melee weapon. If their blood could just infect me, I wouldn't want a melee weapon that would splatter blood into my face and mouth, which is a big problem that I have with a lot of zombie movies, where it's like, oh, you're going to contract this disease, but then like you're covered in blood all the time. You have cuts on yourself and you have zombie guts on you. It's like, sure. But anyways, I'd try to get to my dad's, see if any of them were alive. Most likely they would, because they live out in the country. And I'd probably try to hang out there as long as possible, and probably just honestly kick it out here, because like we're in the middle of Arkansas, like in the country. I just, there's not any big cities around. I think that this would be a probable place to survive for a while. And then if shit started getting weird, I would want to move inwards. But I think that I'm actually probably in a pretty good place to survive the apocalypse.
I was thinking, I'm like, I feel like ideally anyone with any agriculture skills would definitely thrive. It's like basically you have to become a farmer, like live off the land. You have to, if you're in a city, you're pretty much stuck.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you going to do? You raid a department store, you and everyone else. So like, yeah. So you would like go to your dad's bunker and then eventually like live off the land and become like a cool farm boy. And
yeah. And like my dad has, he has a body shop and he does like four-wheeling and I don't know, shit like that, rock crawling. So he has like these big souped up like Jeeps and trucks and stuff. And I feel like I could put some spikes on one of those if I needed to and like drive through, like if I needed to go to Walmart, like, you know, I could Mad Max it through the town and stick some people.
Could somebody draw Ty driving to Walmart in a spiked tank, but everything else is normal? You're just like in traffic, you're parking at Walmart in your fucking spiked tank. It's like, I just need my Sunny D.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I think that honestly, like mine is pretty boring, but I feel like I'm really set up to survive it. Like if it is just some fucking dumb zombies. The part that gets scary is like people who are still conscious, like looting and stealing, which are the same thing, but killing people to take their shit and getting people as slaves, that kind of stuff. Like I think the scariest part would be the other survivors and not so much the zombies after a little bit. I mean, at first the zombies would be the scariest fucking thing, but I think I could kill a zombie.
I don't know if it's just because I'm like a emo at heart, okay, like just very emotional young man, but the scariest part for me, not to sound like super corny, is the like, what happens to everyone I love? Like what happens, what happens to your pets? What happens to your family? It's
The
like
pets would be sad.
Again,
yeah.
Trigger warning, but it's like, what would I do? Just call beep boop boop. Okay, I have this idea. You're gonna have to come over. I'd like call all the people I love and convince them like the best way out is death. Like wait, no, I don't like that, because then it's like if I leave, then I'm not there to take care of them. Not that I would be able to take care of them realistically, but like I would feel like I'm abandoning them. But at the same time, you don't want to be like, I have an idea, So yeah, the saddest part for me is just like I wouldn't want to leave the people I love, but also I wouldn't want to be here to watch the people I love suffer and inevitably like not do well. So yeah, I don't know.
I think we have very different I think we just estimate ourselves very differently in this, because in my mind I'm like, yes, me, and I would be able to protect everyone that I love, but I mean realistically, like there would be a lot of losses. But I just sorry.
I was going to ask everyone, did you know that Ty saved my girlfriend in Philly from a bunch of bikers?
I mean, not technically wrong.
It's true. They were, yeah. So my girlfriend and Ty were going and pick up food for us in Philly, and they were walking, and like these children, was it?
Like 14,
12, 13-year-olds. Yeah, like young teens rolled up on their bicycles and started like trying to pick a fight with them, which is scary.
Well, actually what happened first is they were harassing this gas station worker and spitting Dr. Pepper at him and like yelling at him and flipping him off. And we walked by and we saw that, and we just kind of I guess we gave them some attitude with the way that we looked. Yeah, we looked at them like, what the fuck are you doing? But then we kept walking. Yeah. But then they followed us through the whole fucking city on their bikes, yelling at us and trying to fight me. And there was like 4 of them.
And he legit, I only felt safe, not that I let my girlfriend go. I don't make decisions for her, but I felt safe knowing that she was there with Ty, and wasn't able to walk at the time, but I was anyway. Before I knew I had EDS, and I was like, why can't I walk? So they went and go pick up the food, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll stay here, knowing that Ty is there, and legit, saved my girlfriend from these scary ass fucking kids who were trying to pick a fight, and then Ty was just tough, just what was it? Something not I'll fight you then, but something. They were
yeah, he was so
instigating.
There was definitely one that was the main antagonist, and he put his bike down. Well, he kept they would ride their bikes really close to us and then ride off. And he kept acting like he wanted to fight me, but he would stay like at least 50 feet away from me. So at one point, like, we had stopped because they were behind us and I didn't want them at our backs because they were still like yelling at us and they had stopped. So we stopped and turned around, and we weren't like, obviously we weren't trying to further things. We were like, just leave us alone now. Go, you're a child. Like, and one of them, the main antagonist one, rode his bike to where he was probably like 15 feet in front of me, and he puts his bike down for the first time because they had pretty much been on their bikes. So he puts it down and like walks, you know, like kind of steps in front of it but doesn't actually walk towards me. And I took like, he mouthed something at me and I took one decisive step in his direction, and he stepped backwards and tripped over his bike and then got back up on it really fast and rode away. And I was like, okay, these kids aren't going to do anything to us. Let's leave.
Well, there was something you said, and it was so heroic because they were basically trying to pick a fight, and then like when you took your decisive step, it was this kind of like, so then fight me, like what the fuck do you want type thing. And you tripped over his bike, and I'm just like, that's so heroic. It is. You were just like, okay, fine, do I have to fucking fight I don't want to fight these children, but if I have to, I'll fight these children. And I was like, Ty saved my girlfriend from children. Listen, 14-year-olds are intimidating. They're like full size. Okay.
Yeah, and they don't care. Like, they'll do anything.
No, they're impulsive. Okay. So yeah, just all that to say, my girlfriend, Ty saved my girlfriend from bikers in Philly.
But she also low-key, like, I was getting pissy and she was like, Ty, you can't hit a kid. So she kind of saved me too.
It's a nice story. Tell your friends Ty Turner is a hero.
You're so sweet. They were literally like 14.
So I would trust you in a zombie apocalypse.
Well, thank you.
You know, you fought off those kids. You could fight off zombies.
It's like that episode of The Office where the Andy fights off the biker gang, but it's just a bunch of little girls that threw a pine cone at Pam. That's similar.
Oftentimes people think that they'll react differently in a scenario than they actually do, but it's like, look, we have evidence. Ty's a hero in a scenario where people want to fight. You don't like run or like cower. Like your instinct is like tough and like,
thank you,
protector. So it's like that's good. This is why I trust you in a zombie apocalypse type scenario.
Do you want to hear another?
I was just gonna say, I'm that sweater vest, button up shirt wearing dad. I would have already called, like I would have dialed 911, like assuming that they're not, you know, if they're little white kids, I would not call the cops on a person of color because I know for a fucking fact they're not going to get treated fairly. I don't want anyone in jail.
So much danger. Yeah.
From what I heard from the story, it was a bunch of white kids on a bike. Oh, 911 on one immediately. I would have been like, fucking arrest their asses. I'm sorry. Like, I don't feel bad for you. You're harassing people. So like, they were shitheads. So I have another story too about a time where I had to like blow up. So Christy and I were at this park, and it was late at night, and it was like this, it's like a neighborhood park. So it's not really, I mean, technically it is a city park, but it's like within a neighborhood. So people don't really go out of their way if they're like, let's go to the park. They're not going to go there. It's a pretty secluded park in my town where I live. So we had walked there because it was like a few blocks from our house, and it was like a nice night out. We just wanted to go hang out at the park, I guess. And so we had walked down there, and like, you know, I love to swing. So we were swinging, and then at some point this car showed up. And I don't really notice when it was. We were there for probably an hour, and we wrapped it up and we decided to leave. And so there's this single car in the parking lot, and it's a very small parking lot, but you have to walk through it to get to the road. But there's probably like 10 parking spaces there. So this single car is there, and we had walked, like I said, we didn't drive. So the car's off, the windows are tinted, and like, I didn't know if there was anyone in it or not because like I hadn't noticed them pull up, but there was nobody else outside of the park. So like, you know, maybe someone left their car and got a ride with someone else. I don't know the situation. So we're walking by, and I'm just kind of like looking at the car to try to check it out. And, you know, I mean, just seeing, is someone in this car? What is this car doing here? And I see like the shape of someone in the front seat, and like the passenger side window is rolled down just a little bit. And so when I see that someone like moved inside, I just kind of
averted my eyes so that they didn't think I was just sitting there staring at them. And so we walk by and I hear this voice that I don't recognize, and it goes, "You guys want to buy some Laffy?" And like without missing a beat, I go, "No, thank you." And we just kept walking. I go, "No, thank you." Like that. And we keep walking, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, this is a weird situation. Why would someone ask me to buy drugs without knowing me and then just not follow up with anything when I say no after I've seen their car? Like, this is a straight, like, they're just gonna let me go. They're gonna offer me drugs, and then that's it.
I'm like, okay, have a nice day. Here's my card.
Right. So we're like almost out of the parking lot, and I hear this car open its door, and like in my mind, I'm like, okay. Like I'm very attentive of it, because I'm like, okay, yeah, they're obviously not gonna let us go. Like, this person's gonna keep fucking hassling us. And I hear the car door shut, and the voice says, "You better run." And I in my mind, I'm like, okay, this person obviously is like on drugs. They offered to sell me drugs. This is probably someone who is like high on something that makes you very fucking intense if they're wanting to chase me and scare me. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, they don't have a gun, they have a knife. I know how to defend myself against a knife. Like, trying to think of the different ways like to evade knives, because like they wouldn't tell me to run if they had a gun, right?
Why would they even give you a warning? Like, oh, here's a head start, like heads up. Why would they not just ambush?
Me. Yeah, I think
okay.
It was, so in my mind, I'm like, this is someone who is purely doing this for the fun of freaking me the fuck out, which is why I would picture this to be someone with a knife and not a gun, because a gun's going to get the job done, whereas a knife is painful and scary and very intimate, you know? So, you know, all this is going through my head, and I, like, Christy is up in front of me a little bit, and I'm here, and I turn around, and like my head is down still, kind of like, I'm like, I don't even know how to describe it, but I turn around and I finally like see who this person is that was talking to me, and it was one of my friends, Nikong, my ex-roommate. So he was just fucking with us, but like in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to like take off sprinting towards this person to get the jump on them. Like, I'm looking for a knife. He doesn't have a knife, and then I see his face, and it's someone I fucking know. I was like, oh my god. So that was
a thrilling. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh man, Ty killed a man. I can't believe Ty killed someone, and he's gonna tell us on my favorite podcast.
Dishing it out right here, folks.
Wow, holy shit. Where did you learn how to defend yourself against a knife? Is that just an Arkansas thing? Did just teach you that in school? Or?
If I'm being honest, I can't pin it back to an exact time. Like, I took taekwondo lessons as a kid, so it could be there, but also like my dad, we used to, like, when I worked with him at his shop, he would show me like different ways to fight sometimes, and like stuff with like guns and knives and stuff. I don't know. I think all growing up, like, it's just kind of been something that I've done.
It's a useful skill to have. I'm kind of starting to wonder, why the hell didn't anyone teach me how to defend myself? Damn. Ty's a hero. Pass it on. You want him in your bunker.
You're so sweet. But yeah, so
10 on 10 won't teach you. What?
I kind of do put myself in this place of like, I would fight. I don't know how effective I would be, but I would do it. And I would probably think that because like I know a little bit, you know, I have generalized knowledge of like how the apocalypse would probably work. I think I would be effective.
Interesting. I'd like to think that I'm someone who would also fight, except I've never been in a fight except when I get my ass kicked. Actually, no. Okay. All right. I've been in 2 fights in my life. 2 fights. People might know this story because there have only ever been 2 fights. And both times it was like, you could do whatever the fuck you want to me because I actually will just let you, because I would rather not fight.
Well, that's a skill in itself. The being able to take a good beating.
Being passive.
Yeah.
But then it's like if you hurt someone I love, that's when I kind of lose it. You've kind of witnessed this where it's like I could be mistreated, but then if like Karina's mistreated, that's the like I have zero tolerance, but it's like I could be mistreated repeatedly, and I'm like, all right. So yeah, the only 2 fights I've ever gotten into have been because someone I love has been the target, and then I just like get like when it's a physical thing, I get like blackout angry, like beat the shit out of a very small individual who was picking on my friend. Okay, this guy, this little fucking twerp at my high school was in love with my best friend, who was dating my other best friend, and sent some kid who was 2 years older than us to beat the shit out of my friend. And when I saw him with his eye bleeding, I don't know what happened next. I just ended up at my school, and like I was over the kid, and his glasses were broken, scattered across the floor, and I was just like on top of him. So yeah, but that one only happened once. The other one was another time. So, but that is again probably not the most effective or rational way to approach situations. Granted, I was like 13, so like please, and like I was being bullied, and then
Right,
you see your friend bleeding, and I was like, I'm going to murder, and I would never kill him, but I roughed him up a bit. But again, still not. I feel like you should probably plan and execute and be rational when you make the decision to kick ass and defend others. So, still not. Yeah, don't know how I would do in that scenario.
Yeah.
I feel like Ty's a true Gryffindor. I feel like I'm approaching this like a Ravenclaw. I feel like Ty's just like, I would defend and be brave. And I'm like, yes, but let's think of this hypothetically. Have you ever considered the following?
That's awesome. I am a Gryffindor. I took the test. That's funny.
I know for sure. Very brave, very fair. And I'm kind of like, let's just analyze things.
That's not a bad way to be
real
either
weird.
in the apocalypse. You know, there would be a lot of strategizing, a lot of, let's make the right call here, folks. Should we do this? Should we do that?
Me talking others into a painless suicide. Good. Yes. I'm an asset.
That's actually, that's true. That's hilarious.
Just talk everyone into it. It's like, yeah, sure. I'm your voice of reason. No, I could figure out how to make fire and which berries are edible. Fucking.
If you did have to fight zombies, what would be your weapon of choice?
Again, taking into account the like, will sound just bring other zombies close by, because my first answer would be like some sort of automatic rifle, just as many of them from as far away as possible. But if that's going to bring others toward me, then that's just eventually you're going to run out of ammo and you've trapped yourself in a corner. So then my weapon. Okay, assuming that my way out isn't an option, assuming like my cat or something, or I like how I said my cat first. My cat or my girlfriend are like under attack. My weapon of choice would be like probably like a baseball bat with some nails in it, like something like blunt and sharp. Actually, ironically, I had a nightmare last night because I have nightmares every night. And in my nightmare, I was being attacked as usual. So I actually considered I'm buying a carbon or aluminum, like a very hard metal baseball bat to keep in my car because I had a nightmare. Now I want to make sure that I could defend me or my girlfriend. Don't ask. Nightmares sometimes are very vivid. And I was like, I have no way of defending myself if that ever happens.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
I
so
have a few knives
probably
in
a bat.
my car, and I think that's effective.
The thing about a knife, trigger warning weapons. Sorry, I feel like this is a very intense podcast. Excuse me. The thing about knives is if you don't know how to use them, you're just giving someone else a weapon.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's how I've always thought of it. I'm like, I have no idea how to use a knife, and anyone who just knows the most basic disarming skill will then have a knife. So I'm like, nothing that could easily be taken away from me and then be used against me. Kind of, a bat, like a baseball bat with
is
nails
like a
in it,
stunning object too. Like you can hit someone on the head and they can like recoil and be like, never mind, fuck this.
Yeah, I feel like it requires very few fine motor skills. It's a blunt object, so really you can't go wrong. Just swing it.
It'll just tell it how it is.
Yeah, but like a knife is like small and like stealthy and like requires strategy, and I don't think I'm graceful enough. I have double vision too, so I always miss when I throw something. And if I can't, what are the chances that I'll hit my target if I'm trying to stab someone and I'm like panicking? I'm like, not likely. So it's more likely than you think.
It's less likely than you
Stabbing
think.
zombies. But yeah, what would your weapon of choice? Well, I mean, you kind of went over it.
Ooh, that's good. That's a good one. I mean, the classic baseball bat with something spiky on it, a la Lucille from The Walking Dead, or the spikes, or I mean the nails. Yeah, that's a fun one, but that's such a messy one that I think I would enjoy it. No, I think it'd be really fun because I could just get it up over my head, and I think there'd be a lot of really fun kills you could get with that. But I would probably also want something like ranged. So, I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, keep going. What were you going to say?
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, how realistic are we being here? Because if it's just like any weapon, I'm like, infinite ammo or whatever. I'm like, crossbow. I would want a crossbow.
Yeah.
Because a crossbow won't make noise, really. It's kind of like a... And I know that because my dad collects weapons. Not like weapons, because they're not legal in Canada, but like collector weapons are. So like bows, axes, swords. My dad has a wall full of them.
Awesome. The perfect melee setup for the apocalypse.
Yeah. He has the like ball and like spiky chain thing.
That's awesome. Collecting dope ass melee weapons is fucking awesome. I don't know what my weapon of choice would be. I mean, the crossbow is iconic. Daryl, I love that. But I think I would want, so I would definitely want a crossbow as like my ranged weapon, and then crossbow. Oh, bro. And then I would definitely be crossbows with you. And then for like an up close and personal melee, I think I might just want like a fucking like a fireman's axe. Like, here's Johnny, bitch. Or a mallet, a nice big like carnival mallet. You just start crushing heads.
Oh, that's so. Is it visceral? Is that the word I'm thinking of? Where it's like I feel like I could feel it.
Yeah.
Ooh, no, so many textures.
Yeah,
I've never understood the chainsaw thing. Chainsaws. Okay, have you ever cut wood?
Yeah.
With any automatic saw. Mm-hmm. It's the thing about wood. Okay, is that it pulls. There's like. It's not as smooth as you would think with like the Instagram videos. When wood will push back. You could push wood into a machine, and if the saw isn't sharp enough, or you're going against the grain and you don't have a good grip on it, that thing's gonna go flying. Mm-hmm. So it's like saws are just like they're shaped like this. When you look at a saw straight on, it's shaped like two pointy things going opposite directions. So it's meant to kind of shred things. It's not a clean slice. Mm-hmm. So when I watch people use chainsaws, I'm like, how much strength and skill does it take to manipulate a chainsaw and not have it like there's a bounce basically when you use a saw, an automatic saw. You hit things and it bounces back. You need to hold it. So it's like, is there a bounce back when you use a chainsaw? I don't know how realistic it would be to operate one.
Oh yeah. I mean, another thing too is like the person, if they were to the zombie, if they were to just fall or like not hold their weight against the chainsaw also, like, I mean, they're going to get sliced, but you're not going to cut straight through an arm in like one stroke. It's going like to you're going to have to guide it through, and they're going to have to stand there and wait while you do it.
They're going to bounce off. Mm-hmm. That's usually like I've known people who've gotten cut in saws. I watched someone get cut in a saw, and it's a bounce. It like sometimes people don't notice that you're pushing the wood into the thing, and anyway, it's a whole thing. But it's just it kind of you get knocked back, so it's more of a knockback weapon. I feel like you'd have to really put some active effort into pursuing someone with a zombie with a chainsaw to actually not just like injure it.
That's pretty good though. I mean, it could be used to like, almost more of a shield than it's more of a defense than an offense kind of weapon. Because you're just gonna.
What about flamethrowers?
Oh hell yeah! Go full boring
but I mean,
company.
What if there flamethrowers in my house? What if there are zombies in your house? A flamethrower is gonna destroy it. Like I've always
you don't want to use the flamethrower indoors.
Flamethrowers seem to be a staple in like zombie things. They seem to be like, I guess because they're very extravagant.
I think it's just for the visuals of like people running on fire. And
because I'm just like, I feel like there are so few scenarios in which you're like, a flamethrower would be ideal.
It would not be effective.
Because fire is scary. That's it. That's the whole... Aaron and Sweeney. Fire is scary.
Well, when you look at like how most of the zombies, like I think my go-to is obviously The Walking Dead, because I've had I mean, I've watched a bunch of zombie movies, but that one's so long running that I've probably had the most time invested into The Walking Dead. But like, watch those zombies get their arm cut off. They're gonna keep walking. They don't give a shit. So even if they are on fire, like the flamethrower fire is only effective when it kills the host, and it takes a long time for these zombies to die from fire. So like, you're just making this thing actually more dangerous to you, because then it's gonna come at you and it's gonna burn you.
Yeah, then you just have a flaming zombie, and you're like, shit.
Yeah, and the zombie doesn't give a shit about being on fire.
Sorry, my shorts are riding up.
That's okay.
This became a zombie apocalypse podcast. I haven't even gotten into all my other weird shit.
I know we haven't talked about like technology or AI or like any of the stuff. We could make it a series. I mean, this could be my zombie apocalypse podcast.
Yeah, because the zombie apocalypse takes up this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then like the next topic, once you let me go on that, I'm never gonna stop. I'm gonna make everyone have an existential crisis.
we could do like one of those 24-hour live streams, but just this. We could totally live stream on our channel and then.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
But I'm not sure. Live streaming what? I'm like, are we fighting zombies?
No. I just mean like if we wanted to do like a podcast live stream, we could do that.
We could absolutely do that. That would be super cool. And then we also get like live feedback, like people are interacting. So that's super cool. We could play D&D. I'm just saying.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
I don't have a D&D character yet. I also don't know what version of D&D you're playing.
Oh my God, Aaron. Yes. Wait. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. Let's close the podcast out and then talk more about this. Thank you guys for listening. I love that we're like on everyone. We like tease sort of the next.
We're like,
the only thing that makes us end the podcast is like us getting an idea for a different thing that we want to do. Our quiz. Is that what you were going to say?
Yes.
Okay.
I looked up what zombie movie are you?
Is that a BuzzFeed?
I haven't found a BuzzFeed yet. BuzzFeed, you get turned into a zombie, but what kind of zombie are you? Okay, well, there's that.
How long would you survive? Well, no, we already answered that one. Do they have a... I'm not going to say it. Is there an opt-out?
Unsubscribe. So, okay, are we doing the how long would you survive in the apocalypse before you got the bite?
Oh, no, here's a good one. Which post-apocalyptic universe would you thrive in? That's fun.
Ooh, send me that link.
Okay, I'm gonna put that.
I want to see if there are any that I would be like, yeah, I could do that. You know,
you could live in the Matrix.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's one I could do that. There you go. See, zombie apocalypses remind me a lot of camping, and this is why I don't see the appeal of camping. Why?
Yeah, take all the luxuries away.
Yeah, it's like, indoor plumbing is great, but have you ever tried wiping your ass with a leaf? Let's go camping.
You don't have to do understand. That. You can still
then what are you
take
wiping your
toilet
ass
paper.
with? Yeah, but then you have to keep that. That's even worse. You take the toilet paper and you're like, oh man, just fucking store this for later. You fucking take this home with me. I don't understand.
You just take a bag. I think that if you went camping with me, you'd actually enjoy it. You might.
Do I have to wipe my ass and keep the toilet paper? I would absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, okay. There's the EDS side of me that's like, I can't sleep on a floor, so that I understand why I've never liked camping. But assuming that my body weren't broken, I still don't. You're like, man, I want burnt or uncooked food, or a bit of both.
It's usually both.
Never cooks either. Yeah. And no plumbing, and I don't want to shower. I don't. And then I'm like, but why? I don't.
You know what? Here's what it is. As a kid, it's fun because you like pretend that you're like in Little House on the Prairie or some shit, or zombie apocalypse. Yeah. As an adult, I enjoy it because I'm drunk the whole time and I don't care. So I'm like, I don't need to shower. I'm just gonna go hang out in the lake, and then I'm gonna come here, and it doesn't matter if my bed's on the floor. Because I'm at this point of me being drunk, I probably would have slept on the floor at home anyways. Like, maybe that's
probably why I don't get it. Yeah, because my whole I'm like, I don't drink. It doesn't. My brain doesn't do the thing. So yeah, that I guess that because I'm like I feel like the same people who would survive the zombie apocalypse and thrive are the people who could go camping, and those of us who can't camp, we all have an exit strategy because we're like,
Can't camp. Oh man,
you can't camp. Do I have a plan for you? No.
Christmas. All right, let's start up the
Let's do our
BuzzFeed quiz.
Did you send? You did. Which apocalypse days?
So,
okay.
question 1: which post-apocalyptic universe would you thrive in? That's actually the title.
Okay. Which of the following luxury? Oh, great. Would it be hardest for you to live without? Your car, clean water, toilet paper, medical care, fast food, or coffee?
This is just, I mean, 2 of these are the obvious answers, and then the rest of them are like, they just couldn't think of something to say.
I mean, 3 of them are like clean water, toilet paper, and medical care. Even ground for me. Excuse me. Bless you.
Really?
I guess I would go with, yeah.
It's got to be clean water. It's so versatile.
Yeah, I'd go clean water.
Because like with medical care, I feel like anything that would happen, if like at a certain point, if it's bad enough, I'm just gonna errand my way out of it. If it's not that bad, I'll probably know how to handle it. Like I could, if I got my leg cut off, I could deal with that, you know.
How and why? See, this is why I'm suffering for the sake of just being alive for more suffering. My brain is like, I don't get it. Not that I'm saying not having a leg. I'm saying getting your leg bitten off by a zombie.
I get you, man.
That's the okay. Yeah. Great. In case anyone's like, not having it's not tragic. I get it, but in a forest with zombies,
right?
Which of these books would you take? Why would you take a book? Okay, which of these books would you take on your post-apocalyptic journey?
Oh, I actually have one of these books.
The Joy of Cooking?
No.
War and Peace?
Why would anyone want War and Peace?
The Origin of Species, Zombie Survival Guide sounds practical. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or Special Forces Survival Guide. I think probably Special Forces Survival Guide.
That would be the smart one.
Yeah, who's bringing the joy of cooking with them?
Some fucking
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay, yes. Some mom. I don't know. I actually have the Zombie Survival Guide.
Is it like legit?
It was cute. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like it tells you different shit. I had it when I was in middle school. I don't remember it, but I'm still gonna pick the Special Forces because that's more applicable to, I mean, everything.
I would feel, yeah.
If you could only take one item with you, what would it be? A can of gasoline, a gun, a machete, body armor, a water purifier, a Twinkie. Did you see that?
I was like, you forgot to read one. No, that says a machete. I'm like, a matchet?
A matchet?
Yeah, I could read.
Did you?
I would take a water purifier?
Did you see that meme that was like, life is like a Twinkie? The good part is really small.
I've never seen that. I love how that's like that one did you.
I'm sorry.
It's your reaction to it that makes it good. That's the you're like,
holy shit.
Life is like a Twinkie.
The good part is really small. Aaron's like, I know, trust me.
Yeah.
What would you choose? I mean, it's hard because like this is supposed to tell me which scenario I'm in, but like depending on which scenario I'm in, I would pick different things.
I'm going with a water purifier.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that
regardless of scenario, but
I'm doing that too.
Cool. Assuming you live in North America, where will you flee to when the Earth ends?
This map. Canada.
Canada.
Hudson Bay. Oh my god. I can't tell which part of the country I'm looking at in some of these. Oh wait, I found it.
I feel like if we're talking about climate, I would flee to somewhere like southern to like middle US.
Southern.
Just because you're not going to make it in Canada without heat.
Yeah.
Like you're just not. But at the same time, I'm afraid. I don't want to go to like.
I did United, which is around like Colorado and Utah and Arizona and a little bit of Texas. Or no, sorry, a little bit of New Mexico. That's where I would be.
Yeah, I'll click that. I'll be like, there, I'm going to go with Tigos.
Given that a lot of this is just the fucking ocean.
That's right. Guess where? Okay.
Which of the following struggles would you cope with best? Prolonged thirst, lots of death, being powerless, losing hope, living in a tight space, infrequent meals. Jeez. This sucks.
I would deal with living in a tight space quite well. I'm good with small spaces.
Not me. I'm claustrophobic.
Out of the rest of these, prolonged thirst, lots of death, being powerless, losing hope, or infrequent meals. I'm like, put me in that small space. Just fucking...
I think lots of death I'd be fine with.
Oh no.
Because I could like mentally turn myself off and be like, it's not happening. And that'd be fine. I think I'd desensitize myself to that really early on. I'd have to.
Got it.
Pick a travel companion. Squirtle. Harry Potter.
What?
The Mountain. RoboCop. Samwise Gamgee. Or Peter Quill. I fucking want Squirtle, but I know that's the least effective.
Okay, so Harry Potter has magic.
Yeah.
But he's a bit of an asshole, so nobody knows if he's actually going to help you out. But I'm going to pick Harry Potter.
I think he would help you. I think Squirtle would be a good solution to the water issue. But then you're getting like water from an animal, and that's fucking gross. I'm going to go with RoboCop.
Does Squirtle need to drink in order to have, like, does he need access to clean water in order to produce more water? That's my...
Does he have like a filtration system or something?
Right? It's like he can't be the source of the water, so I'm very intrigued. I'm gonna go with Harry Potter. So
that's good. Yeah. I got RoboCop.
Yeah. If the world ended tomorrow, what would you do today? Get drunk, eat a lot, have sex, live as usual, loot, or prepare?
Prepare.
You're missing an answer here. Prepare. That's the one I'm gonna go.
Oh God. Two very different meanings there. That's awful. I
would prepare. Yeah, no, I'm not here for it. Someone's like, tomorrow's gonna be the worst day in all of human existence. It's like, why would I want to? Why? It's been days since your last meal. You're getting desperate. What do you reach for? There are no labels for these. So, a fish head? What is it? What?
The last one? Like at first I didn't process it, and then when I did,
no. Oh
it's
no.
a puppy.
That's so horrible because the rest of these aren't edible.
Yeah.
One of them is just like fish bones.
They're like tricking you into eating your dog here. I chose the leaf.
True. Fish bones, a cockroach, an entire garbage can made of metal, a probably plastic leaf, rubber running shoes, or a perfectly healthy dog. Like, come on. I'm going with the leaf too.
Oh,
I mean, maybe the cockroach? Aren't like bugs high in protein?
Yeah.
You can go with the cockroach.
But cockroaches are also disgusting.
Yeah, but if you eat that leaf, like, that's not going to do shit.
I'd eat a few leaves, and I'd be fine.
If you had to guess... Oh, go ahead.
No, you got it.
If you had to guess, how do you think the world will end? Overpopulation, nuclear war, in a drought, in a okay, that's it. In a flood, in an alien invasion, in a global epidemic. Okay, a lot of these are kind of synonymous, but
right. I think a global epidemic would be any of these. I think they mean pandemic, like a disease.
Probably. I would say. Excuse me, sir.
It's the first one.
Really?
I mean,
I was gonna say like.
For me, yes, overpollution.
Yeah.
Or was that was it overpopulation or was it overpollution?
Overpopulation.
No, it's
Oh, it says overpollution.
yeah. So that's what I think it is. That's gonna be mine.
Can't read. Overpollution. Yeah. I got my answer.
What was it?
You got the aquatic badlands of Waterworld. I don't know what that is.
Bro, me too.
Bro.
You are a true maverick. You live the... Oh my god, a maverick. Logan Paul. You live the way you want to live and answer to nobody or nothing besides the wind that fills your sails. But as you're well aware, the aquatic badlands of Waterworld is not without its dangers. The open waters that cover most of the planet are lawless and occupied by cutthroats and thieves. Survival means being as dangerous as you're resourceful. Oh, being as dangerous as you are resourceful, but that's exactly what you were made for. I don't fucking think so.
I'm like, I don't know if they got the memo.
Well, you interpreted theirs to all mean like your own. You put your own interpretations on what they had there available for you, which I respect.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I am being a maverick by being like, I'm going to opt out of the apocalypse. So, yeah, they're not wrong. I don't know that movie, though. I've never heard of that movie.
I feel like I saw it when I was very young, and it stuck with me because there's like a kid in it that has like one like piece of paper and like these broken crayons like to draw with, and I loved drawing growing up. So I was like, holy shit, that would suck because that's like all there is left.
That's where you draw the line. You're like, one crayon?
One fucking crayon? I'm out.
No, I could wipe my ass in the woods for fun, but one crayon?
You don't wipe your ass for fun, Aaron. You do it out of necessity. But that's not part of camping. Like, you don't go camping just to go wipe your ass in the woods.
But you could drink at home and then you get to wipe your ass in your own bathroom. So, just to get the best of both worlds.
That is true.
Anyway.
This has been a ride. I am not editing this today, just so we all are clear.
Yeah. This is going to have to be edited. Like, we're going to put markers or something. I'm like, there were two things. One of them I could remember. I don't even remember the first one.
Yeah, the first one was something that I said that I wanted cut out. Oh,
but it's part of this. Okay, it's all in the same.
Fine. Yeah. The next one was you going into detail about how you would opt out of the apocalypse.
That was for you and you alone.
I loved it. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been my favorite podcast. Take the BuzzFeed quiz and put it down below. Let us know what you did.
Everyone gets the same result.
It's all the fucking Waterworld or whatever it was.
We only watched one movie to make this quiz.
All right, guys. Have a good one. And I'll talk to you later.